Hello and good morning. This is a video response to help pretty much the male and female species out within today's society, especially those that are undergoing a spiritual awakening under the blood of Christ. If there's one valuable life lesson that I have learned over the years, well, I'll say over the years, over the past 3.5, maybe just over 4 years, that valuable life lesson would be this. For any of you to chase love, not lust, like many people mistake love for, but love. You know, if you are chasing love, you're automatically repelling real biblical love. And I've learnt this the hard way within my past, my younger days, chasing, whether it be women chasing us men or us men chasing women, chasing any form of sex for that matter, like I said, whether you're a man or a woman, is automatically pedalizing that particular said sex. And what you're technically displaying by chasing the idea of love, romantic love that is codependent attachments, along with childhood traumatic experiences, along with woundings. And that's unhealthy for both sexes, regardless of how old we are. Physically, that is. I mean, in here and in here, it's completely different. So, to both of you sexes out there, stop chasing love. Otherwise, you're going to learn this viable life lesson the hard way, like I have, and still do to some extent, to this day. And that is, you will get rejected. While chasing love and pedalizing it, while, it gives off that factor of, in other words, too good to be true. It looks good, looks fruity. And, once that honeymoon phase dies off, like I said, within approximately a year, give or take, no more than 2. Well, a year and a half to 2 years. That love then becomes a battle between the two sexes involved. And then there's going to be spiritual fights, there's going to be psychological fights, there's going to be a lot of hate, there's going to be a lot of hands-on grapples, Not necessarily, physical beatings from both sexes, but in other words, grapples, like children, technically speaking, on a schoolyard. And then that's it. It's game over. You're back to square one. Now, you are left wanting to fill that void again by trying to chase love, even within somebody different. And this is why so many people, like I said, fail at relationships, courtships, marriages, because you're chasing love. Think of it this way. Although us men, we are the providers, we are the head, we are the leaders. And even, let's say, I don't know, we gave interest to some member of the opposite sex, and she ghosted or flaked even within the last and final moments. And then from there on out, you have so much of your precious, valuable time wasted that you're this close, quite literally, from throwing in the towel and going, do you know what? Fuck dating. Quite literally, jog it on. It's not worth it. After knowing that the laws are actually, in fact, heavily biased towards us men, and the amount of men that they've actually pushed into suicide, along with any other psychological and spiritual impairment, it's just not worth tying the knot. As much as I would love to, when I'm actually ready in here and in here, it's just not worth it. Especially given today's age where, the opposite sex are competing with us, and, it's like or should I say that the opposite sex are in competition with one another when it comes down to trying to lock us down, or better yet, convince us into locking them down. And it's just one big farce, because we are having our time wasted. And the more we're just going to remain walking away, because it's bullshit. It's smoke and mirrors. We know, like I said, deep down what we want in here and in here. But yet, no. Too many self-entitled, spoilt little narcissistic brats given today's society. Oh, I'm entitled to him. I'm entitled to the gift of marriage. Even though deep down I know that I'm a psychopathic, blood-spilling, soul-draining murderer, I'm entitled to him. I'm entitled to half of his finances and material possessions. You see this middle finger right here? You can jog right on. You're not entitled. You're not entitled to jack shit. And I will keep on putting you in your place, whether you like it or not. This is going to go within our favour that you waste rather than yours. Because the more of our precious and valuable time that you waste by playing these games, the more it's being added onto your lifespan. You are actually, in fact, growing older. And you're becoming all the more undesirable, along with unattractive and infertile. It is what it is. While us men are slowly and surely becoming within our prime, old age, prime, old age. It's a combo that many can't actually master nowadays. And like I said, us men, we're the real winners out of this, because the time that you waste of ours is being added onto your lifespans. And I don't understand why playing these games, and trying to get in the way and intervene with our spiritual awakening gives you such satisfaction. I mean, you do realise that temporary hit of joy and happiness that you get from doing what you do is short-lived, right? And it's going to get taken away from you, one way or another, through your so-called connections. Congratulations, bravo, well done. Now what? You're left feeling empty again, right? You're left repeating the same old behaviours 24/7. I want both sexes to succeed when it comes down to locking down their ideal match, as you will, when it comes down to marriage. But the more games that the opposite sex play, The more manipulation, bad intentions, motives, agendas, and all of this, gaslighting, and all of these other things, it's just going to make life all the more difficult for the opposite sex rather than us men. Because we, like I said, still have opportunities. We have options. The women, on the other hand, that play these games, they don't. And reality is going to hit them hard when, like I said, we begin to walk away by the droves and you're left with virtually no man. And that's what happens when you believe that you're above us men and that you're entitled, because you're not entitled. Right, so before I wrap this video up, I don't want to make it too long. The only way for real love to work, involving the well-being of both sexes, is by not chasing it. In other words, the man doesn't chase, the woman doesn't chase. It's like it's neutral, isn't it? You know, that way then you will attract it naturally when you least expect it. And this is what people don't get when they try to chase me, you know, and try to pursue me and lock me down. They are repelling me on a whole by doing this. Because it's unattractive. Just like it was unattractive when I tried chasing the opposite sex in my heyday. Didn't get me anywhere. Didn't get me anywhere, you know. If anything, I just kept failing and failing and failing. And thankfully, it's the failures that have granted me all of this knowledge, wisdom and logic that I've accumulated throughout these years in order to help other people when involving dating, or better yet, courting, as I'd like to call it. Because that was the original concept. If you were to go back to the biblical traditional ways, you know, 6,000 / 2,000 years ago. So, take heed and listen to what I'm about to say for the last and final time, because I don't want to make this video too long and bore anyone, you know. Chasing love, whether you're a man or a woman, is automatically repelling that said gift that we're currently looking for. Because you are pedalizing either sex, and you're technically displaying codependent attachment disorder, along with childhood traumatic experiences, and that's unhealthy. It's just a vicious cycle, and it's forever going to keep re-looping until whoever it is that's holding on to these, you know, said loops, cut them off. It is what it is. Don't chase. Once again, man or woman, do not chase. Focus on yourself. Keep on putting in the work in here and in here. I know that there is a God, the Father, who so happens to have a Son called Jesus Christ, witnessed and approved via the Holy Spirit, keeping tabs on the good works that we do out of good faith in order to secure our salvation, and also the bad deeds that we choose to do in the heat of the moment, which we will be punished for via the conviction of the Holy Spirit, like I said. And that's something else that I'm going to share at a later date, because if I explain myself now, I'm forever going to be keeping this video ongoing. Stay tuned for another video upload in regards to this, you know. And like I said, stop chasing, because you're going to fail every time. While you think you're winning with the honeymoon phase stages of this said love that you want by chasing it and pedalizing it, it's short-lived, it's temporary, it's short-term, not long-term. And you're back to square one when all of that goes tits up. And you're now looking for that void again within another said person. And even if you did get it, you're back to square one. You're looking for that hit again. You see where I'm going with this? It's just not going to work. Because chasing, like I said, whether you're a man or a woman, is the equivalent to codependent attachment disorders, along with childhood traumatic experiences. And these are unhealthy dynamics between both sexes. And it's automatically going to repel what you're looking for. Whereas if you focus on yourself, you don't chase the idea of it. And when you're ready in here and in here, you will attract it naturally. Because spiritual connection even, you know, does not lie. It'll happen when it happens, when you least expect it, when you don't chase it, when you don't pedalize it. And when you sure as hell do not mistake it for lust, like lots of people do nowadays. Because it's not lust, it is love. And there we have it, folks. End of discussion.